be loyal to her. Loyalty doesn't even matter.
I invite you to come on an adventure with me where we try and discover how we came to this conclusion.
These are married women that took this survey.
We've come to this conclusion from a survey.
And loyalty was statistically insignificant to them.
Well, my first question would be, was it the women participating in said survey? Were they the ones labeling loyalty in a relationship as statistically insignificant? Or perhaps was that defined by the person doing the survey?
It was more important that you were sexy, hot, masculine, earned money, had a future potential to earn money, had some kind of degree on the wall. Those things were way more important than loyalty, which is interesting.
So does that actually mean that women aren't fussed about being in relationships with men who are clearly disloyal to them? I mean, all of those things you described requires input and effort in order to develop such attractive traits. Whereas being loyal, isn't that simply just prioritizing them and not choosing to sleep with other people if you've chosen to be in an exclusive monogamous relationship with each other?
Because, you have all these guys going around, they just get so pissed off and like, I'm just a nice guy and I'm loyal.
Well, to those men, I would say, obviously, you need to work on offering a lot more in a relationship. A good start is the things that he suggested, because apparently there was a survey of women that found those things attractive.
Well, the ladies have spoken.
The ladies have spoken. All of them have? Let's learn a bit more about this survey.
The title of the study is Attractive Women Want It All, and David Buss is the author.
So this is the survey in question that came out in 2008. Attractive Women Want It All, Good Genes, Economic Investment, Parenting Proclivities, and Emotional Commitment by David M. Buss. David Buss is an American evolutionary psychologist at the University of Texas at Austin, researching human sex differences in mate selection. He is considered one of the founders of evolutionary psychology. If I know anything about alpha dudes, they love evolutionary psychology just as much as cheating on women. Now, Dickie Goober's live stream on this was posted in 2023. He's choosing to use a survey from 15 years ago to justify the claim that all women would find it statistically insignificant to be in a relationship with a man who was loyal to them. Well, let's learn more about the sample size of this study.
In the study, there was 214 men and women, 107 men, 107 women.
107 women we're drawing this conclusion from.
Who had all been married less than 1 year at the time of testing.
So these are married women, which I'm presuming means they are in long-term committed relationships with one person.
Participants were obtained from the public records of marriage licenses issued within a large county in the Midwest United States.
One county in the Midwest of the United States we're drawing this conclusion from.
The mean age of the male sample was 25.46 years. The mean age of female sample was 24.78. So it looks like the guys were about a year older than the women.
And the average age of people in the study were in their mid-20s. I'd be interested to see how these people would answer the survey now. Would they answer the survey the same way, or would their preferences have changed? Because as human beings, I imagine we have the capacity to evolve as we age. But surely people who study evolutionary psychology are aware of this, right? 107 married women in their mid-20s in a large county in the Midwest of the United States participated in a survey. And in his findings, David Buss concluded, in which he was also responsible for titling and labeling said findings, the women rated a man's loyalty in a relationship that was equated to statistically insignificant in comparison to other attractive traits that require a lot more input and effort to obtain, which alpha dudes have drawn to the conclusion that women don't want loyal men. I haven't found any evidence to suggest that that was what David Buss was suggesting in his findings. But in hindsight, this video is not necessarily about David Buss's study, it's just about the mental gymnastics of alpha dudes trying to justify cheating on women. If only I had access to a sample size of women of varying ages who live all over the world with varying relationship statuses, who have different political beliefs, religious beliefs, who take their past relationship experiences into consideration. For argument's sake, I get 108 women to comment below that a man's loyalty in a relationship is significant. Have I proven that all women would consider a man's loyalty to them in a relationship as significant? No, it actually doesn't, because we're just generalizing here. Did I just disprove an evolutionary psychologist with a PhD? I'm just a guy with a phone who overthinks too much. Obviously not, because like I said, I haven't found any evidence to claim that this was the conclusion David Buss was alluding to with his survey. It's just another video on alpha dudes who can't seem to comprehend and understand that you can just stay single if you want to sleep around. Stop getting into monogamous relationships, because I've yet to come across a woman who hasn't been financially incentivized or emotionally manipulated, who is voluntarily on her own accord choosing to be in a relationship with a man who cheats on her and is okay with it. Because always keep in mind, these alpha men expect extreme loyalty from their women. Am I really meant to believe that I'm in a relationship with a woman and I step out and cheat on her, she finds out and gets all upset, and I pull up a survey from an evolutionary psychologist in which he surveyed 107 married women in their mid-20s in the Midwest of the United States, and the way that they answered the questions in his survey, he's determined that men's loyalty in a relationship to them, in his own words, in his own study, statistically insignificant in comparison to other questions that were asked. Well, that justifies my actions, because clearly my loyalty to you, I was under the impression it was insignificant. And what, she's going to apologize to me and let me keep cheating on her? Is having empathy ever crossed your mind? Because all of this mental gymnastics is to try and convince women that they should put up with and tolerate their selfish behavior. However, if you never lose sight as a woman that you're under no obligation to, that can't happen. And this is an issue with people who clearly have agendas and narratives to push, who love to reach for statistics and surveys and studies that apparently align with what they're saying, which again I would question, because I believe that we're drawing ourselves to conclusions from our own biases when I haven't found any evidence that the study that you're reaching for has come to the same conclusion that you did. Whereas I could walk down the street and ask 100 women, would you be interested in being in a relationship with a man who wasn't loyal to you? I would feel very confident that all of them would say no. Well, that's because all the women are lying, because they've been indoctrinated by the Matrix to think that way. Just stay single. It's so easy. Just stay single. And when you actually grow up and evolve and embody being an adult instead of just looking like an adult, maybe then you might be ready for a monogamous relationship.